I mean, that's pretty evident of these jinn or spiritual entities or whatever they are, the purple and the yellow. I mean, if that doesn't, if that didn't give it away, nobody said anything, but I'm just showing you. It's them. And then you see the lightning. And then you have the X here. And what I wanted to get to the other thing was this. Just so you saw that. Nobody brought it up, so I figured I'd have to do it myself. A couple people asked me about this, so I'll explain it to you. Here's the cow. You see how it's got all the countries on it? The reason why it's the cow, it's the same one that the Jews worshipped in the desert. It's Moloch. It's this whole Saturnian thing. Okay? The sound that you hear associated with it is called a Baal tritone. Baal tritone. B-A-L tritone. Tri is 3, tone. So it's a Saturnian sound, and what it is, it's called La Diablo in La Musica, which means the devil in the music. And what it is, it's like the notes that are in between the notes, and it's reminiscent of this, which most Americans will know, but the British won't. Let me find it real quick. It's the same thing, and they always show that it's a 96, and I've shown this to you guys a bunch of times, but here, let's do it again. Well, I can't move the screen down, but I can. You just listen to the sound of it. Remember, it's a 60, it's a 6 and a 9 and the 96. Listen. Okay, that's the same thing. They're just playing it differently with the showing you the cow, but they're telling you the same thing. Here's the 96. The other one's got the cow with all the countries on it, which means that the world is completely and utterly under the control of the whole Saturnian system. So again, without trying to be funny, the whole world is utterly under the control of this Saturnian system. And you listen to the sound, it's a Baal tritone. And this is Moloch, which is the whole Saturnian sacrificing the children. I mean, it's insane. It's insane, but once you understand what you're looking at, it becomes very clear what this place is. Hence why I keep making these videos over and over and over again to get it through you guys' head. See, I was discussing with somebody earlier why this whole Jesus loves you thing doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work is because the church is behind pushing that message, which means it's bullshit. The way that the church is pushing it, it doesn't mean that he didn't care. But in order to get people to understand why that's important of what he did, is you have to understand where you exist. And this right here is telling you the whole story, that this place is run by this system. And in this system, you're fucked. You've been dealt cards from the bottom of the deck. Every which way you tried to go, somebody threw something in your way. But at the same time, they've left plenty of little quips and little comedies and movies and love stories, all telling you the real story, but most people never take the time to learn that story. And then when you learn this story, then you'll understand why what Jesus did was so important, because he ran around trying to tell everybody what these fictitious man-made traditions were all about, and how this system of hell that we live in is stacked against you, and that you have to realize where you're at. See, the whole Jesus loves you thing doesn't really mean shit to anybody because people don't really get it. And the ones that, raise their hand in church and say Jesus loves me, they have no clue of any of this even existing. Why? Because the church won't tell you you're in hell. You would think that the church would be the first ones to say, hey, did you know that you're in hell? No, because they're a 501c3 tax-exempt organization. Tax-exempt organizations, if you go look it up, are owned by the state, by the government. So the church, in essence, works for the government. And the government is not going to tell you that you're in hell because the government works off a system based on a higher system, and they need your money. You got to come to grips with where you're at. That's what I'm trying to do. I hate to say this in this way, but I'm going to. In this case where we live, if you want to get to heaven, you're going to have to go through hell. Sorry, it's the way it works here, I guess. Because there's nothing here that shows me that there's anything holy here except what your connection with the Father is. There's no organization here that's looking out for you. There is no church here that's looking out for you. That's all traditions of men. Yes, they know the truth, but they're not going to tell you that because people wouldn't come to church then. A church is a place where you go to feel good. It's not a place you go to get saved. If the church really cared about you and was really free of the government, like they say, separation of church and state, none of this would be going on. None of these things that I'm showing you would be going on. If there was really a hatred for the shit that goes on here, these things wouldn't be able to exist because that's how the game's played. If you stand up against it, it'll go away. The system's not going to go away, but you can protest stuff and it'll go away. But people don't care. They don't care, and a lot of them don't care because they don't understand. What was one of the last things that Jesus said before he died? Basically, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. In other words, he was saying, man, what a bunch of dumb fucks. They just don't get it. And that's the reality of it. The fact that some of you are starting to see this stuff for the first time, and a lot of people get overly zealous, look here, look here, look here. But it's new to you. It's not new to this place. And so once you start seeing the world through different eyes and you start understanding that it's kind of depressing. And then after you get used to it like I have, you just come to expect it. But the thing that you're supposed to get out of this, and the only thing that I can see that you get out of this, is that it's proof that all of this stuff exists, that there's a heaven and a hell. There isn't just a hell, there's a heaven too, except we ain't privy to it yet. So what I'm doing is I'm actually doing exactly what the church refuses to do, and I'm showing you the hell part of it. At least, it isn't devils and pitchforks and all of that shit. That's the judgment that's later on down the road. Right now, you're supposed to be learning this or have known this, and I'm pretty sure we were supposed to have been taught this a long time ago. You have to understand, just because you don't remember when you died doesn't mean you're not dead. You think death is somebody that's sitting down in the morgue. That's the death of that body. Your spirit was cut off a long time ago. And so when you start seeing these symbols and all that, you start seeing this reality in a spiritual way instead of a physical way that the church is trying to make you see it. This is the spiritual understanding of what this place is. The horns, the cow, the representation of Moloch, which is Saturn, the whole world being in the system. You're stuck here for now, but you don't have to be a part of it. Understanding what it is and where you're at is a major step to getting out. The church is not your friend. It never has been, it never will be. When you take a building and you tell me that the Father's in there and you put a bell, which is Baal, right, on top, why is the symbol of the devil on top of the church? That means one of two things. Either Satan is the Darth Vader and he's telling Luke Skywalker, Luke, I'm your father, search your heart, you'll know that to be true, which means that Satan is the creator of all things, and that's just all that there is. Or it's a bullshit story, and they are fooling you into worshiping the wrong guy. You need to figure out which one it is, and then you come to grips with it. I'm telling you, you're getting bullshitted. But you're not completely bullshitted because they're giving you the option to learn. I don't mind making these videos. If I got to make 1 billion of these videos to get you guys to understand, I'll do it. That's what I open this thing up for. And I'm still a human being, and I still say the wrong things, and I do the wrong things, and I get out of line sometimes, and you know what? I'm just me. I'm a tree trimmer. Don't ask for too much because you're not going to get a lot. But what I can do is I can try and show you this stuff so you can show others. But the main thing is you have to seek this stuff yourself. Look around yourself and then show other people. Don't just regurgitate shit. Look, and a lot of you do. You come to me and say, look what I found, look what I found. And I know it seems like I'm putting you off. But when I tell you, you need to look at that stuff, I don't. I'm just saying that because it's new to you. It's not new to me, and it surely isn't new to this place. So don't ever feel like I'm being rude to you, because I'm not. You know, I'm glad that you're here. But, you know, I don't get overly excited seeing this stuff because after years and years of having to face this shit by myself, it's nice that people see it, but it doesn't excite me when somebody brings something to me and says, "Look at this," and they're pissed. Well, that's part of the emotion that goes with it. You know, basically, let's put it this way: I'm just a messenger. I'm nobody anything but that. I'm just a messenger. I'm just showing you guys. There's nothing here. There's no angel music, none of that shit to go with it. You know, I'm not a prophet. I don't show anybody anything that wasn't already here. I didn't pull anything, you know, out of the darkness and into the light. I'm just showing you something that was here that you just overlooked. I'm just a dude. I climb trees during the day, and at night I come home and I show you guys this. Very boring, and I go flying a little bit, and that's it. There's nothing more to me. There's nothing hidden. I don't have any cards up my sleeve. All I can do is try and get you to understand what this system is. That's all. Then you have to work it from there. But I'm giving you the best that I can give you by telling you where you exist. The church will never, ever, ever tell you that you're in hell because they'll be out of business. And they don't want that. So I know that's hard to swallow and get your head around. You died a long time ago. We all did. This reality has conned you into believing that you're alive. No, that doesn't mean if you step in front of a bus, the bus is going to go through you. It's going to go through you while you go kaboom and splat all over the place. Yes, you're in a physical body, but you're spiritually dead. The zombie apocalypse everybody was talking about, that's us. That's us right here, right now. I'm not going to turn this into a church sermon. I'd love to. I would like to see a building built with no masonry on it whatsoever, and where somebody just said, "Come on in, welcome. Tell me how your day in hell was." That would be ideal, and then you discuss it from there. But for right now, that sound that you heard in here is called a Baal tritone. It's the music notes in between. It's the same thing as the 69 and the 96, which represents the fallen, because we live in a fallen state.